So this is the other place that I volunteer at. It's called the Houston Food Bank, and they just got a new facility. Now, the money that came for this building came from everyone around the Houston area. Corporate businesses chipped in money to build this new facility because they outgrew the old one. So they asked for help from the community, and they chipped in with basically grants. And now Houston Food Bank is one of the biggest food banks in the United States. Uh, the food bank has several programs. They have a program for their senior citizens. They give out boxes, I think it's once a month for their senior citizen. And they also have another program, which is a Backpack Buddy program, which gives food. Uh, well, at the school, they have the backpacks for the Backpack Buddy program is at the schools. But the food bank packages it so it'll fit right in the backpacks real easy. This way, the kids will not be embarrassed by the other kids that's at school. And all they do is they put in the backpack on the kids, and nobody knows they've taken food home. But it's food for him to take over the weekend, so they'll be have nutritious food to eat during the weekend, so they're not lazy, where they're not energetic. They want to keep the kids energetic for school so they can keep learning. So they send this program to the house, and the parents are supposed to write out a contract that this is for the kids. It's not for the parents. And they find out how many kids you have in the family. Let's say you have if a kid has a sister, then him, and let's say a baby brother that's not going to school yet, they will package enough stuff for three of those children. That way, they are kept fed and have a nutritious food. A lot of times, it's macaroni and cheese and other things, cereal. You'll see it in the show and everything. Okay, so the next thing is another program they have is a Meals on Wheels program. The Houston Food Bank send them out to these other organizations that warms up the food for the food on wheels for the seniors. Let me see. Then there's soup kitchens. Some of the food from the Houston Food Bank goes to soup kitchens. Now, the soup kitchen program is a little bit different. It's mainly for the homeless people. They'll have, like at a church or something, they'll have the homeless come in, eat a nice warm meal, and then they can do what they want because a lot of times the homeless don't want to stay at a shelter or anything. So this way, it gives a little bit of food to the homeless that sleeping outside on the streets. Let me see what else program there is. I think that's it. I think I covered every one of them. If not, I'll tell you in the next thing. But I just want you guys to subscribe if you like it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Uh, just don't turn around, or you can. And leave a comment. I love reading your guys' comments. Uh, so let's get to the show, okay?
We were talking with this kindergarten teacher in one of the low-income schools. She told us this story about how she was on breakfast duty one morning, and she saw one of her students go through the breakfast line and take a biscuit and slide it into her backpack. So she went up to the little girl and asked her about it, and the little girl got tears in her eyes. She said, "Well, it's for my baby brother. We don't have any food at home." And it's sort of hard to imagine that you have a 6-year-old who's trying to save half her breakfast to take it home so she can feed her baby brother. The Houston Food Bank's mission literally is to lead the fight against hunger. We are now the largest food bank in the country for distribution. On average, we feed about 137,000 people every week. The face of hunger is not always who you expect it to be. You think you could identify somebody who's hungry, but in fact, you really never know. We secure food donations through a variety of ways. And when the food comes in, we need to have that food sorted. It needs to be inspected to make sure that it's not compromised in any way. And this is where volunteers play a huge role.
Today we have approximately 80 Aramco volunteers that we welcomed here this morning. They are working on one of our projects on our box-driven sort system. Well, volunteers are so important to what we do here at the Houston Food Bank. They help us with the sorting, the repacking, and the packaging to get it out to our over 500 agencies that we serve throughout our area. Without the volunteers, there is no way that our staff and our current production staff could sort this product, get it back out to the people who need it.
We truly could not do what we do without volunteers, but in particular without our corporate volunteers. They're able to help us process so much product that we otherwise wouldn't be able to do. I'm very proud of our volunteer program. It's just grown by leaps and bounds. They've done an incredible job. It's not just about a handout, it's really about a hand up.
What working and volunteering for Aramco is helping me realize is there are times in our life we always say, well, what difference can I make? What can I do? This is it. You can do something. You can think globally but act locally, and this is the way to do it.
The Houston Food Bank serves 137,000 people every week through a network of 500 partner hunger relief charities. Our goal is to distribute 100 million nutritious meals a year by the year 2018. We are in a place that allows us to do that. We were not in that position before.
We were really maxed. We had grown considerably after the hurricane, and we were at the point where our demand was growing and our facility did not lend itself to that.
A colleague of mine at the St. Mary's Food Bank in Phoenix, Arizona, had some experience with New Markets tax credits, and he shared that with me and said, Beth, perhaps you should look into this as a possible avenue for funding.
It was an opportunity from a business standpoint to make an operation more efficient.
And we've teamed up with our partners internally to figure out a way we could provide a comprehensive new market tax credit solution.
The way that we decide to get involved in a transaction is first to look through the lens of community impact. And I don't think there is a project that we've done that has the kind of impact that this project has.
The Houston Food Bank deal was LISC's first opportunity to invest new markets tax credits in Houston. So we were very excited to be part of such an important project.
Between finding out about the project, being asked to be part of it, and then working with other like-minded CDEs, this was a no-brainer for us in terms of getting involved.
And so the new market tax credit allowed for a significant subsidy to be provided to them to expand their capacity into this wonderful campus.
It was a very wonderful experience. It was a very challenging experience. Con Resnick was there with us every step of the way.
We look at the sources of funds, the uses of funds, how the various CDEs come together, how they leverage the outside debt.
It does make it more complicated, but that's the nature of the transaction, and when you see the final results, it's worth it in the end.
I like what I'm seeing in terms of the food, but I like seeing the vitality of all the people coming and going. When I arrived this morning, there were 2 school buses full of kids that were coming to volunteer at the facility.
Our volunteers get great satisfaction out of what they do because they're touching the food. You hold that can of soup, you know that can of soup's going to feed a little kid.
Right now I'm standing in sort 1 area. The food that comes in is loaded onto the carousel that you see going around me.
You get to meet a lot of interesting people, and everyone that comes through is anxious to help.
We can take them down to age 8. The little 8-year-olds bag rice. It is so cute.
If you look at the New Markets Tax Credit Program, this is a perfect example of how the money can be used.
The jobs, the new facility, the students who come in here and visit it every day, the volunteers, all of this tells the story that we're trying to share with the people who are involved in this program and the outside world.
The Houston Food Bank project is really the poster child for the type of projects that LISC likes to invest in around the country with our New Markets Tax Credit dollars.
The demand is greater now than ever before.
You just never know when you're going to be on the other side of the fence. So it's good to give back while you can.
And no matter how bad the day is, no matter how difficult it is, we help somebody every single day.
Working in hunger relief is soul satisfying. You know that you're helping individuals.
We are live at the Houston Food Bank with Betsy Ballard, and she is the Chief Communications Officer here at the Houston Food Bank. And Betsy, where are we right now?
We're in the carousel room, and this is, I think it's the show place for our volunteers. We have these carrier systems that move through the room. It carries food from volunteers table to table. They sort and process that food, and they make sure that the quality is good so that we can send it out and feed hungry people.
And what we're doing today, everyone, is we're highlighting different types of volunteer opportunities in case you would like to volunteer here at the food bank. They always need volunteers. Now, this is an example of a box that may come in from a food drive, right, Betsy? And as you can see, there are many different boxes of salt. That's not going to go out to a client, right?
Not all of these boxes of salt, no.
Right.
So our volunteers have to sort it. They have to put it into categories. It gets moved through the rooms by this carrier system, and some other volunteers then put it in categories, or maybe they'll take it and process it into food boxes that are distributed.
So one client will get maybe 1 box of salt and one thing of water.
Yes.
Yeah, got it.
And we send this stuff to a food pantry. Salt, for example, that's going to go to a food pantry.
Okay.
And if somebody needs salt, they can get it when they come to the pantry.
Right. Okay, so what about repacking the boxes in the warehouse? What's that about?
Sure. We take unsorted food as well, and we put it in boxes that are then distributed to families. We also have a box building program that distributes food just for seniors, and that food is much more structured. It's a very set amount of items that go out to a senior every month. 7,700 seniors get fed through that program.
That's wonderful. And everyone, if you volunteer here, they make it easy. These are examples of cans that will not be distributed.
Right.
So the volunteers can look for this.
We want to make sure that the quality is in question. If the dent is severe enough, for example, we're not going to send that out there because the food may, we could poison somebody. You don't want to do that.
Right. Okay, now one of my favorite programs here is the Backpack Buddy program. Tell us about that.
Oh, we love the Backpack Buddy program. It gives a sack of food to a kid in a school, something to take home for the weekend. So many children are chronically hungry. Their families just can't afford to keep food on the table. It's heartbreaking. So the teachers tell us, after they've identified these children, that those kids come back to school on Mondays and they're so much more able to learn.
Yes, it makes them better able to learn, just like you said. Absolutely.
It's a disadvantage to try to learn if you're hungry.
Yeah, it is.
Your stomach hurts, your head hurts, not good.
Now, how can people volunteer here at the food bank?
Oh, it's so easy. Just go to our website, houstonfoodbank.org, and you can click on volunteer, and it'll take you to a registration page. You're good to go. We'll give you a badge to print out that has a barcode on it, and you scan it when you come in so we can record your presence, and then we can total up all the hours. We know that in a year's time, we have about 120 people, or the equivalent, let me be clear, the equivalent of 120 people. If you total up all those many volunteer hours. We literally can't function
And you
without
need volunteers all the time.
Got to have them all the time.
So everyone, you know what, with the holiday season coming up, if you have a community group or maybe your office wants to do something for the community, come on out and volunteer, right?
Year round, you're welcome all the time.
Thank you, Betsy, so much. All right, everyone.
Citizenship as part of Citizenship Month and global citizenship, because really we're not only giving on the local level, because the local is global and the global is local. And the food, the effort being done by the consular ladies, and I really want to salute them, is that that's an example of global citizenship. They are giving to another country and to citizens of another country. And for those of us who participated in the walk on Saturday, we are participating in an effort to help not only the people in this country, but to help people in other parts of the world. And that's really what Citizenship Month is about, is giving and supporting volunteerism and learning in the process about the issues that affect not just our neighbors and the families with us, but all over the world.
Hi, we're volunteering today.
We're volunteering.
We're volunteering today.
We are Harmony. And I brought my students here because I think it is very important to not only establish that volunteering is a large part of our community, but also to be a role model and show that I also enjoy volunteering and helping out our community.
I would like to volunteer to show gratitude to people who have helped me, so the way that I show my gratitude is help volunteer.
The reason I like to help people is because this community gave back to me, so I would like to give back to the community.
And I volunteered to help people.
I like the Houston Food Bank because we get to help pack stuff for people that really need it.
And I like to volunteer because I like to help people out, and it's really helpful.
I volunteered because I really wanted to help the homeless, and I wanted to just share my love for them. So, and I'm happy I could help the community.
And we are here with our 7th graders and 8th graders because we want them to get involved with our society and what is volunteer work.
And also, we want them to see the process of giving back, so when they are given to, they know all what it took to be put in for this effort.
Somos Harmony. Carácter importa.
We're all students at Harmony Science Academy, West Houston, and at Harmony, we love volunteering because
character matters.
And we're from Harmony Public Schools.
And teaching our students the value